So it's been a month since I've last been on here. I have a reason for it, but we'll get into that later. So I have successfully completed 4 months of Whole30, no sugar, no dairy, no grains, as you guys know. And it has taken a long time for me to really start seeing some benefits of this, and really the benefits are getting bigger and bigger the more months I do it. So when I first did Whole30, the 1 month I did it last summer, I could tell a difference in my body. I could feel a difference, but there wasn't a lot of change in me, and that's what pushed me to try to do this for a year and to see if a change in diet could really heal your body the way it needed to. And so I have lost weight, but as you guys know, the main focus of this was to lose weight, to get healthy, but there was so much more. There were so many deeper things that I wanted to happen within my body. A healthy body is obviously not an overweight body, so I knew that was going to be a part of it. But yes, I have lost weight, and it is a big weight loss. I think I am down 35 pounds since January 1st. This is without exercise. I have not exercised. This is strictly just from changing my diet. I don't count calories. I don't portion my foods. I eat till I'm full. Sometimes I give myself a treat. I get something a little bit extra, but I don't portion anything. This is strictly just eating the right kind of foods, and I'm down 35 pounds, which is huge. And so if you're just wanting to lose weight, this is the simplest way for me because I don't feel restricted at all. I feel like I get to enjoy food. There's a lot of things out there that I can have. I don't feel like I'm depriving myself. We can go to any restaurant and I can figure out something to eat. And so this works for me if I'm just talking about a weight loss. But there's so much more involved to why I did this. And I've talked to you guys about that before. But today I want to talk to you about something so exciting that's happened in my life. One of the biggest things is my PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. And I think I've mentioned it before. But I think I inherited it. I mean, I've had problems with it since I was young. I didn't get diagnosed with it until I was in my 20s. But I've never had a regular cycle, ever. From the moment I started to now, I've never had a regular cycle. I've always had hormonal imbalances, and the older I got, the worse it got. When I hit 21, that's whenever things really started to take a turn for the worst. It's when I started gaining the weight. Out of control, gain the weight, to where it hit so fast and so hard that I was shocked. And that's why I went to the doctor initially. I said, I'm gaining weight and I'm working out and I don't know what's wrong with me. And that's when they did the tests. They looked for trends in my body, and they diagnosed me with PCOS. And I remember going to the doctor and saying, okay, what do I do? And he goes, well, you just need to lose weight. And I said, well, I'm working out, and he couldn't do anything for me. And that was 4 years ago. And he said, here, get on birth control and take this pill called metformin. Metformin is a diabetic medicine. And I told him, I said, I'm not diabetic. And he goes, well, it's an insulin resistance problem, and this will help you from being diabetic. The more I researched, the more I realized that people who get on metformin that aren't diabetic end up relying on metformin. So if they ever got off of metformin, they would actually need it. And I did not want to go that route at all. And so this is 4 years of research, 4 years of learning, doing the oils, trying to figure out what a healthy lifestyle is. And one of the biggest things that I've learned through that was food played a big part in our hormones. And the more I studied, the more I realized if I truly wanted to heal myself, I was going to have to make a radical change with my eating. So go back 20, 30 years ago, there was this movement because of heart disease. For people, they said that fat raises your cholesterol, which is what's causing heart disease. So we started eating in a way that was low-fat everything. We think that that is our healthy way of eating. So when you go to the grocery store, you see low-fat, no-fat, all this trend that had happened. And I grew up on this trend. My mom would not buy anything with high fat because she wanted to keep us from having heart disease later on, or getting a heart attack, or having our cholesterol be too high. And we all grew up that way. But what ended up happening when they cut out the fat is heart disease is not down, and the diabetes is on the rise, and PCOS is an insulin problem. And so it's because our body needs fat. Our hormones need fat. And so they cut down the fat, and what happened was all of our foods, low fat does not taste good, so they upped the sugar on everything. When you go look at a low fat item, you are going to be amazed at how many grams of sugar is in that. And they will hide it however they want. It may not say sugar, it may say natural flavors. There's many ways for them to hide this sugar intake. And this is why we're having obesity issues with our children. This is why type 2 diabetes is getting bigger and bigger. Obesity is a big problem in our country, and a lot of it has to do with this low-fat trend. So when I learned this, I thought, okay, so I need to up my fat intake. And I looked at, there's a lot of diets like the ketogenic diet, which is a high-fat diet, and I didn't want to go that route. I thought, if I just up my fat, I feel like I'm just going the opposite direction. For one, it was like low fat, high carbs, and now I'm going to go to high fat, low carbs. And I just thought, why am I worried about macronutrients? All macronutrients, carbohydrates, fat, and protein, they're equally important, and I didn't want to make one more important than the other. And that's when I found Whole30. So, anyway, this is 4 years of research, many trials and errors of trying to figure these things out. And so when I chose the Whole30, I felt like it was the most holistic approach. It was the most reasonable, and it wasn't placing one macronutrient over the other. So I've done the Whole30 for 4 months, and my fat intake has gone up. I did add butter, so I am doing butter, avocados, seeds, all of those things are higher in fat, bacon. And my carbohydrates I get, or my sugars, as some people like to say, I get from fruit and potatoes, starchy vegetables. So, I have gone 3 months in a row with a regular period. 3 months. And I wanted to wait to make sure this wasn't just some fluke when it happened, but for the first time in my life, I am having a regular 28-day cycle. And to some of you may not think that that's a big deal, or you may be like, why is she saying this on a video? This is huge. This is beyond what it's beyond words how amazing this is for me. I don't know of anybody who would jump up and down and cry over the fact that they had a period, but I am overjoyed, because that means my body is healing itself. And what's happening is that my foods, changing my diet, is allowing my body to work correctly. And I'm amazed at the fact that it's food's fault. It's the food's fault of why I am the way I am. It's not my fault. It's the food. And just changing it is allowing my body to work the way it was designed to work. My body was designed to work this way. And just 4 months, only 4 months, and I'm seeing a radical change in my body. Yes, I've lost weight, and that's exciting. Yes, I look thinner, and that is really good. But the fact that the inside, not the outside, the inside is healing, and it's reflecting on the outside, that is what's more important to me than anything. And that's why I did this. Now, there are other health things that I'm praying that the Lord will start to heal because of the diet, but this right here is a testimony that something is working. And so I hope this was an encouragement to you guys, and I hope that you see that it is food, and food plays the biggest role in why we are dealing with the health things that we're dealing with today.